is a busy day because of the demise of Srimati Asha Bhosle. So this case study is written on the Taural India, a company which was founded by me in 2016 with a joint venture partnership with Tony Arute, with a German big giant company who are serving for defense, railway, energy. And in last 10 years, we have made the progress to a level that we have opened the second plant in Supa, Haryanagar, which is a tier 2, tier 3 city rural site. So, and Professor V.G. Narayan, who has taught me during my Harvard Business School time in 2018-19, he agreed to write a case, and this case is getting launched tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the same campus of Taj Mahal. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah. So I thought I'll tell you about what are case studies that we write in the Harvard Business School, how we use them in the classroom. So it's very, almost 100% of our sessions are case study based. We write up a scenario and describe it in rich detail. The case study itself doesn't take a point of view, it just captures what happened. And then we facilitate debates in the classroom. I was just telling Kim before you all came to the room, we use the case method in India a lot, we just don't call it that. All the Panchatantra tales, all our fables are case study. So we say at the end of it, we say, what is the moral of the story? That's how 3-year-old, 4-year-old children in India learn. Is take some story, and there's a debate. It can be like, I gave the example like, should Dronacharya have taken Ekalavya's thumb? A case study, there's pros, there's cons, people debate, this should be fair, but he has to give tuition, whatever it is, that is, and from there what do you learn? What are the principles you generalize from that one particular study? Because we keep quoting from our mythology, from our past. No, this is not unique to India also. Europe, they have Aesop's fables. In the Middle East, they have Arabian tales. Every country has, every society has these stories from which we say what lessons have we learned. What's unique about
चीजों को समाज सेवा को बिजनेस से जोड़ रहे हैं.
So this business was started with a vision of developing India and making it self-reliant in the segment of aluminium casting, which is used for Amrit Bharat train. It is also used for the Sarath tank in defense area, as well as the energy network like the Siemens, ABB, General Electric. These are our customers who were buying the, वो बाहर से चाइना से या यूरोप से मटेरियल लेते थे, उसको हमने अभी आत्मनिर्भर भारत के स्वरूप में यहाँ पे ही बनाना शुरू किया है. उसी के साथ एजुकेशन, स्किलिंग, ट्रेनिंग, ये चीज़ भी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि ये जो बिजनेस है, इस टाइप का बिजनेस इससे पहले नहीं होता था. हम पूरी तरह से चाइना और यूरोप की तरफ निर्भर थे. तो इसी के साथ स्किलिंग, ट्रेनिंग, उसके बाद जो एजुकेशनल इंजीनियरिंग फील्ड भी आता है, उसी रास्ते पे मैं कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग पुणे का एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन का प्रेसिडेंट भी हूँ और गवर्नर ऑफ महाराष्ट्र नॉमिनेटेड बीओजी मेंबर भी हूँ. सो वी हैव टू ऑल्सो मेक आवर इंजीनियर्स फ्यूचर रेडी विद द न्यू करिकुलम, द इंडस्ट्री नीड्स. That side also we are looking after.
So what is the future for India, Europe, in terms of joint ventures? And I think this is going to be a good case study from that perspective. Both sides will say, what can we learn? This was done this way. What can we do differently next time? How do we find 100,000 such joint ventures? I think that we didn't think of it when we wrote the case. I'm not going to lie. It happened afterwards. We didn't even know this free trade accord was in the works, but it was signed. But therefore, I think the timing is right in terms of what impact it can have.
So, आपने 100 लाख 100 स्टूडेंट के लिए जो किया है, तो एवरी ईयर वो रहेगा कि वो आपकी CSR एक्टिविटी COP के थ्रू आप डालते हैं उसमें, तो ये एवरी ईयर
So
कंटिन्यूसली
this is something one of the alumni who is living in USA has given a big endowment of $1 million and spread across the 8 years. So $100,000 will be paid every year, and that will be actually given to a student who are coming from an economically weaker background for their education. Because the College of Engineering Pune is an institution which is like a legendary 170 years old institution of the second largest defense, railway, marine. Then we supply to healthcare as well. For example, for healthcare, we are supplying the gantry of CT, computer tomography, MRI machines. We supply CR for the cath lab, which is used for the angiography operations. For the energy, we supply parts like housing enclosures, which are used for the transmission and distribution of electricity.
Yes, sir. Are you manufacturing 100% aluminum-based total product?
Yes, 100%.
अवार्ड बिजनेस स्कूल का कितने स्टडी में हुआ, कितने चैलेंजेस आए प्रोसेस आप पूरा बताइए जरा।
Study में challenges तो नहीं है. You're very cooperative. He gave all the information when he asked. It helps. He was my student, so I can. The main challenge is actually, think of each case is like, I think of it as like making a movie. So what is the angle? What is the hook? Because if you write a case that says, this is all fantastic, everything is terrific, the students will say, what is there to debate? Nothing to discuss. You're telling me this is very good. It makes a very boring case. An exciting case leaves the person with a puzzle and say, what would you do if you are in this situation? So we're looking for an angle to do this. And actually the angle to the case came from the previous industries minister, Mr. Desai. He sends another person to him and said, mentor this person. Somebody has helped you. Now it is your job to help the next generation of person who's going to start a new company, new industry. So the case ends by saying, what advice should Bharat Gite give this person who's starting a new company, thinking about joint venture or something like that? Because then the reader of the case becomes very reflective. And they say, okay, we read something, this person's experience. What did I learn from this? Good and bad. What will I do differently? What will I follow? Those are the things you take away from this. So that is what I want, but it has to come organically. So the idea of giving advice to the next generation was sort of the hook into the case, as we call it. So it's like, how do you frame the case such that the person reading the case feels like I have a job to do. I have to express my opinion.
So you mentioned German technology आप लोग use करते हैं, थोड़ा उसके बारे में briefing देंगे सर.
So, see, basically this company, Tony Allotech, is a legacy of 40 years. When the world was talking about only ferrous steel, iron casting, that time my JV partner's father, Ludwig, has started going to the Deutsche Bahn, German Railways, to Siemens, and introducing them an alternative metal, which was aluminium. And today it became like a trend or the future metal because it's a green metal. Of course, it produces the carbon footprint while producing primarily. But once it is produced, the recyclability is very easier, which needs only 5% energy and emission. As well as it's anti-corrosion material, so you can throw it in the environment for 40 years, but you get the recycling value as well as it will not corrode like steel, like iron or something. And this technology. So basically, if you see as the professor also said, the free trade agreement between India and Europe will help us to get the aluminium hub for at least the sand casting part of it to the Indian side, and they are flexible for that. Because the labor situation in Europe is not good, even the environmental regulation, I don't think that because they have all the systems in the place as far as the pollution acts are concerned, but the labor as well as the availability of the resources are very scarce in Europe. So that's why we hope and we wish to have the aluminium casting hub to the Pune side or the Maharashtra side from this business.
Yeah. So your product cheaper comparison than European products?
We don't talk about the cost at all because our products are quality oriented and very special products which are made like a custom made. When you talk about the Suzuki, Maruti and Maybach, Mercedes, we can't really compare that. So that kind of product we have, and these are also very low volume products. So each product we have to give the, like as the Porsche says that it's hand stitched all the car seats. So similarly we have to give a lot of detailing and lot of efforts to make one cast. So we will be cheaper than Europe for sure, but it will not be like a difference of huge wide difference.
So go. Always 500.
For me or for him?
For you, what is
See, as Professor also said, that giving back to the society and cultural differences, joint ventures, collaborations, bringing the new innovative technologies to India was the driving force behind this case study. That such more examples should be repeated and the new processes, new innovation should come to our country.
Now, you have to be willing to take criticism, to be written up as a case study, because a young student will say something because they are not coming with preconceived notions. They will come at it from a fresh perspective. A lot of it will be wrong because they don't have the experience, but 10% will be completely new ideas that we have not thought about before. So when you write something as a case study and to have the person on whom the case study is written sitting in the room when a bunch of young people are discussing the case is actually a very, for many people it can be a tough experience because they're like, oh my God, I never thought of it this way. How come they can think of this but I didn't think of it? But if you're willing to embrace it as a learning opportunity, then you will get a lot out of it. So if you want a case written about you, you better be sure that you want to learn from what others have to say, because much like the press, students are also, they try to be balanced. They try to say, they won't just come there and sing the praises of someone. They say, okay, here are the pluses, here are the minuses. On balance, this is what it comes out. And if you are like very, you have to be thick-skinned and willing to change, willing to learn. I think that's where the real power of the case study comes from.
Come to know about his success and its broader impact on industry and society. And also, I would like to ask you, what unique or distinctive aspects did you identify in the case study of Bharat Gite that make it particularly? And during this process, have you visited his hometown, his factory, and what is the procedure of writing this case study?
Yeah, so you asked lots of questions. I'll try to pick up.
The first was already answered.
No, but we'll answer in the context of this question. So, I've known him since 2018 because he attended a program. And after that, he did something that other people in the program haven't done. He, not only as a student, he became a professor himself. He took some of my cases and he started teaching it to his workers in his factory. So he stayed in touch with me, and so I would have a phone call or a Zoom call with him, and he will ask me questions about some other case. I've written a case a while ago in a company from southern India called WS Industries. Maybe again a factory situation where the factory workers lead a lot of continuous improvement efforts on their own. And of all the cases, that's the one he picked to teach to his factory workers. And that was unique, and so that stayed in my mind that he has embraced the case method as a continuous learning opportunity and not just viewed it as I came to Harvard, I got my certificate, I'll put it on my LinkedIn and I'm done. He wanted to use it for learning and further it and improve his own situation in his company. That appealed to me. And so I've stayed in touch and I've seen him grow and I've seen him get successful. So that was one of the things that motivated me. But I also have touched on other aspects that make it unique. It isn't a usual situation, of another case that I wrote is on IHCL, this very company in which Taj is, this hotel is part of their group. They're, it's a maybe 200-year-old company, right? 200-year-old family business, Tatas. They come with their challenges are different, but they come with a lot of advantages. And this is a new startup, first generation, first person in the family. So it brings its own unique flavor. In terms of the process, we did a sequence of interviews. For me, I wanted to capture it both from Bharat's perspective, but also Tony Alitek's perspective, and also a few other people, Dr. Pawar. So they're all in the case, different case. So we did a lot of interviews, and for me this was unique. The first time I was doing a case almost completely on Zoom. In the past, I always used to go visit the factory first, interview people, and only visit one person, one factory, and write the case. This is the first time this is a case which is written from a, if you will, a multinational perspective, where we interview somebody from Germany, 2 or 3 people from Germany, interview people in India, and put it together. We also are telling this is the first time we used the help of artificial intelligence, Gen AI, to write the case. So even from a production perspective, we have had lots of new approaches to case writing this time.
You also mentioned about the culture. So what kind of culture you appreciated or you like it? Something about the culture.
So I'll tell you a couple of instances. So I was asking one of the people I interviewed in Germany, Dr. Pawar, what did you see in Bharat? He's been there for 30 years working for Siemens, like more than 30 years probably. So Siemens, a lot of people, you could have helped any one of them. Why did you help Bharat? He has no background and you're putting your reputation on the line. If you back someone that is new and if they don't succeed, why would you pick?
हार्वर्ड बिजनेस स्कूल के प्रोफेसर वीजी नारायणन जिन्होंने एक केस स्टडी लिखी है, इस केस स्टडी के द्वारा हम दुनिया को और भारत को बताना चाहते हैं कि फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर ब्रिंगिंग द फॉरेन टेक्नोलॉजी विच आर द न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, जो नया तंत्रज्ञान है जो भारत में लाया जा सकता है और भारतीयों के हाथों से भी यूरोपियन प्रोडक्ट यहाँ पे बनाए जा सकते हैं। उसी के साथ फ्यूचर में 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की तरफ हमें बढ़ना है, तो ऐसे उद्योग जो इकोसिस्टम पूरी लाते हैं, क्योंकि हम आज देख सकते हैं कि कार बनाने वाली कंपनी है जिसमें पार्ट अभी भी जर्मनी से या यूरोप से या चाइना से आ रहे हैं, तो टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटी के साथ टीयर 2 सप्लायर भी डेवलप होने चाहिए, यूनिफॉर्म डेवलपमेंट होनी चाहिए, जो विकास है वो सर्वांगीण होना चाहिए। भारत में हर गांव तक, हर विलेज तक, हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट तक नए प्रोडक्ट, नए इनोवेशन आने चाहिए, उसके बारे में इस केस स्टडी पे लिखा गया है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. So I've tried to capture in this case study one entrepreneur's journey and chronicle the challenges that they face. Particularly try to present it both from the perspective of the entrepreneur, but also their JV partner coming from Europe. How do they look at a prospective entrepreneur and what are the concerns they have? And my hope is that by writing this up, for anyone else thinking of starting a company or doing a joint venture or any JV, a potential JV partner looking at potential entrepreneurs in India to partner with, they know what issues come up and how to address them. So that the next time it is easier and faster to solve for these problems or anticipate some of these problems, so that the next set of companies and factories that are started in India through joint ventures, things happen faster, cheaper, better.
Thank you.